You are here with Senora DeVries, and we are continuing with Inside Out and Back Again. Part 4. From Now On. Letter from the North. 8 months ago, war ended. 4 months ago, Mother sent our letter. Today, Father's brother answers. Still, we know nothing more. Our uncle even went south to talk with our old neighbors to find Father's old friends. He consulted, left word, waited, until it became obvious he would know nothing more. His letter doesn't tell us what to do from now on. We look to Mother. She doesn't tell us either. Ours is a silent Christmas Eve, December 24th. Gift Exchange Day. Pam comes over on Gift Exchange Day with a doll to replace the mouse-bitten one I told her about. I almost scream because the doll with long black hair is so beautiful, but I whisper thank you. My high emotions are squished beneath the embarrassment of not having a gift for her. December 25th. What if? Brother Quang asks, what if Father escaped to Cambodia and is building an army to go back and change history? Vu Li asks, what if Father escaped to France but can't remember his own history, so he builds a new family and is happy? Brother Koi asks, what if Father escaped to Tibet after shaving his head and joining a monastery? I can't think of anything else, but can't let my brothers best me, so I blurt out, what if Father is really gone? From the sad look on their faces, I know, despite their brave guesses, they have begun to accept what I said on a whim. December 29th. A sign. Mother says nothing about Father, but she chants every night. Long chants where her voice wavers between hope and acceptance. She's waiting for a sign. I'll decide what she decides. December 30th. No more. First day back after Christmas break, I know I'm supposed to wear everything new. I don't have anything new except for the coat and a hand-me-down dress still wrapped in plastic. It's beige with blue flowers made from fabric fuzzy and thick, perfect for this cold day. Best of all, it's past my knees, perfect for a cold bike ride. Pam is wearing a new skirt, falling to her calves as always. Stephen's new white shirt looks stiff as a wall. As soon as I remove my coat, everyone stops talking. A girl in red velvet comes over to me. Don't you know flannel is for nightgowns and sheets? I panic. Pam shrugs. I can't wear pants or cut my hair or wear skirts above my calves. What do I care what you wear? She says. Stephen says, it looks like a dress to me. The red velvet girl points to the middle of my chest. See this flower? They only put that on nightgowns. I look down at the tiny blue flower barely stitched on. I rip it off. Nightgown, no more. January 5th. Seeds. I wear the same dress to sleep, telling Mother why. I pretended not to care. Then no one cared, so I didn't really care. Mother laughs. I tell her a much worse embarrassment is not having a gift for Pam. Mother nods and thinks. Goes to her top drawer. I was saving this for you for Tet. But why wait? In her palm lies the tin of flower seeds I'd gathered with Titi. Perfect for Pam. Mother always thinks of everything. January 5th, night. Gone. Mother runs in after work, hands clenched into white balls. Words chopped into grunts, face of ash. We stare at her left hand. The amethyst stone is gone. Brother Quang drives us back into the sewing factory in his car made of mismatched parts. We search where Mother sat, then retrace her steps to the cafeteria, to the bathroom, to the parking lot. We repeat so often we lose count, propelled by Mother's wild eyes and pressed mouth, frightened of what her expression would be if. At dusk, the guards shoo us out. We're afraid to look at Mother. January 14th. Truly gone. When home, Mother retreats to our room, misses dinner, remains soundless. At bedtime we hear the gong, then chanting. The chant is long, the voice is low and sure. Finally she appears, looks at each of us. Your father is truly gone. January 14th, late. Eternal peace. Each of my brothers wears a suit too big or too small. I wear a pink dress of ruffles and lace, which I hate. but at least it's definitely a dress. Each of us faces the altar holding a lit incense stick between palms in prayer. Father's portrait stares back. This is as old as we'll ever know him. That thought turns my eyes red. Mother says, we'll chant for Father's safe passage toward eternal peace, where his parents await him. She pauses, voice choked. Father won't leave if we hold on to him. If you feel like crying, think at least now we know. At least we no longer live in waiting. January 17th. Start over. I'm trying to tell Miss Washington about our ceremony for Father, but it takes time to match every noun and verb, sort all the tenses, remember all the articles, set the tone for every S. Ms. Washington says if every learner waits to speak perfectly, no one would learn a new language. Being stubborn won't make you fluent, practicing will. The more mistakes you make, the more you'll learn not to. They laugh. Shame on them. Challenge them to say something in Vietnamese and laugh right back. I tell her Father is at peace. I tell her I'd like to plant flowers from Vietnam in her backyard. I tell her Tet is coming, and the luck starts over every new year. January 19th. An engineer, a chef, a vet, and not a lawyer. Brother Quang has started night school to restudy engineering to become what he was meant to be. Mother smiles. Vu Li refuses to apply to a real college and will instead go to cooking school in San Francisco, where his idol once walked. Mother sighs, twists her brow to no effect. Brother Koi announces he will become a doctor of animals. Mother starts to say something and nods. Mother has always wanted to be an engineer, a real doctor or poet, and a lawyer. She turns to me. You love to argue, right? No, I don't. She brightens. I vowed to become much more agreeable. January 29th. 1976, Year of the Dragon. This Tet, there's no I Ching teller of fate, so Mother predicts our year. Our lives will twist and turn, intermingling the old and the new, until it doesn't matter which is which. This Tet there is no bang chung in the shape of a square made of pork, glutinous rice, and mung beans wrapped in banana leaves. Mother makes her own in the shape of a log made of pork, regular rice, and black beans wrapped in cloth. Not the same, but not bad. As with every Tet, we are expected to smile until it hurts, all 3 first days of the year. Wear all new clothes, especially underneath. Not sweep, not splash water, not talk back, not pout. Mother thinks of everything. She even asked Brother Quang to bless the house right after midnight. So I couldn't beat him to it by touching my big toe to the carpet before dawn. Mother has set up an altar on the highest bookshelf, the same for every young portrait of Father. I have to look away. We each hold an incense stick and wait for the gong. I pray for Father to find warmth in his new home, Mother to keep smiling more, Brother Quang to enjoy his studies, Vu Li to drive me from and to school, Brother Koi to hatch an American chick. I open my eyes. The others are still praying. What could they be praying for? I think and think, then close my eyes again. This year, I hope, I truly learn to fly kick. Not to kick anyone, just so much as to fly. January 31st, Tet. And that is the end of the book. Thank you.